Welcome back, folks, to Let's Talk Real Estate. A lot to talk about, as I said right before the break. A lot of information that I'm getting throughout the country from different people, or even a lot of questions I'm getting from different people throughout the country that are having issues with saving their home or issues with their mortgage payments. I happen to get this particular email from Casey in Maryland. She didn't say what city she's in, but she says, "Hi, I've been trying to save my home since June of last year. I live in Maryland, and I'm not sure if you're able to assist me. I filled out my lender's loss mitigation paperwork last year and was denied due to insufficient income. My income has changed a little bit, and so has my expenses. I want to file again, but I want to make sure that I do it right so that I don't go straight into foreclosure if I am denied. I have an FHA insured loan through BB&T. Please let me know what I can do. Thanks." And that's Casey in Maryland. Casey, a couple things. First and foremost, I don't do loan modifications as a business. Okay, I actually help people and I show them how to do their own loan modification because it's not rocket science. It's not easy by any means. I want you to know that. Doing a loan modification is not easy. It's very stressful, it's a lot of work and very tedious. But I'll tell you what, if you do things right and if you do qualify, you will get a great loan modification from your lender if in fact your lender is doing loan modifications. I want to make sure, Casey, and everyone who's watching this program, that you never ever pay somebody for loan modification assistance. I say that, as I said right before the break, I did have at one point my own company where we did loan modifications and we're perfectly 100% legitimate. But there are so many people out there who are not legitimate. There are so many people out there who are nothing more than a foreclosure rescue scam that it doesn't make sense to pay anybody. And I don't charge for this type of service. This is information that I give away free, and this is information that you can receive just about anywhere. So if you want my assistance, Casey, this is what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to go to my website at robertaldana.com and watch the 4-part series videos that I have on how to do your own loan modification. In fact, each one is about 15 minutes long, more or less. Okay, so you're going to end up watching about an hour's worth of video. And you're probably thinking to yourself, you know what, I'm not sure that I want to do this. I'm not sure that I can spend an hour watching these videos. Well, if you can't spend an hour watching the videos, then you probably can't spend the time that it's going to take to save your home, because it's going to take a little bit of work. In many cases, it's going to take a lot of work. But if I can tell you one thing, Casey, do some homework, do some research, watch my videos, don't pay anybody for assistance, and guess what? I have a great cheat sheet that I'm offering to anybody who is interested in it. And basically, it's a one-page sheet that you have to fill out. It gives you all the information, all the questions that are needed in order for you to determine whether you could do a loan modification. In order for you to determine whether you qualify for a loan modification. If you want this, folks, if you are in a situation where you're saying, you know what, Rob, I'm not sure what's going on with my particular property. I'm having a tough time, with my mortgage, and I want to know, do I qualify for a loan modification? I will email you this quick sheet, okay? You will fill it out yourself. You don't even have to talk to me if you don't want to. Same thing, Casey, you don't have to talk to me if you don't want to. You can fill it out in about 10 to 15 minutes. Once you finish filling it out, because that's how long it's going to take for you to fill it out, you're going to see right then and there whether you are a successful candidate or whether you are a candidate for a loan modification. Don't pay anybody. There's a lot of scam artists out there, believe me. Attorneys that are charging for loan modification assistance are nothing more than glorified paperwork and things that you could do yourself. Why would you pay somebody $300 or $400 or $500 to do something you could do yourself? Because you really can't. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Nobody is more interested in getting a loan modification than you. That's a fact. So don't pay anybody. Watch my 4-part series, Casey, on how to do your own loan modification. And I'm going to be emailing you within the next 24 hours that quick sheet so you can fill it out and figure out whether you actually are a candidate for a loan modification. Now, if you want to participate in viewer and listener email, it's very simple. Send me an email to robert@robertaldana.com. I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to give your full name out. So nobody's going to know that it's you. In certain situations, I may use it for the program, but I won't use your name. If you do not want me to use it for the program, let me know. Hey, Robert, this is just a personal question. Please don't use my email in any of your programs, radio programs, podcasts, or television shows. No problem at all. But if you have a question, a viewer and listener email, send it to robert@robertaldana.com, and I promise you that I will return each and every email as quickly as possible. As you can see, I'm getting a lot of emails throughout the country on these type of topics. So sometimes it takes me a couple, 3 days to get back to you, but I promise I will get back to you. Now, the quick sheet, real simple. Shoot me an email, say to robert@robertaldana.com. Say, Robert, I want that quick sheet. I want to know if I qualify and I want to do it myself. So more than happy to do so. Send me that email to robert@robertaldana.com. So let's talk about the 10 tips, and I love this. 10 tips to doing your own loan modification. 10 tips to a successful loan modification. Okay, let's talk about that right now, okay? The first thing that you need to do, if you're attempting to do a loan modification, tip number one, find out if you qualify for a loan modification. Seriously. Do you want to spend the next 1 to 2 years fighting with your lender and eventually losing your home because you don't even qualify for a loan modification? Do you want to fight with them? Life is too short, folks. If you qualify, fantastic. But if you don't qualify, don't you want to know off the bat whether you qualify for loan modification? Of course you do. Who wants to spend a year to 2 years fighting with their lenders? I mean, they're not fun to talk to in the first place, right? Who wants to spend 2 to 3 years fighting with them when from day one you should have known that you didn't qualify? Now, there's a lot of people who actually do qualify, a ton of people who qualify, but these are things that you need to know. First of all, A, know the 31% rule. Now, this is still part of tip number one. Know the 31% rule. What's the 31% rule? Well, basically, what it means is this. If your entire mortgage payment, principal and interest, taxes and insurance payment, is higher than 31% of your gross monthly income, you may qualify. Again, I say may because there's a lot of different variables, but this is one of the variables. If your mortgage payment, principal, interest, taxes and insurance, and homeowner association dues are more than 31% of your gross income, then right off the bat, you may be a candidate for a loan modification. Understand the upside down rule, which is B. The upside down rule basically means that if you have a lot of equity in your home, you're not going to get a loan modification. The lender will give you a loan modification because they're saying, I'd rather give this person a loan modification than to lose all the money that I have invested in this particular property because we've let them borrow a lot of money, and if we end up having to sell it in a foreclosure, we're going to lose. If you owe $400,000 on a home that's worth $600,000, the lender's not going to give you a loan modification. They don't have to. Why? Because they're not going to lose if they don't give you a loan modification. C, the documentation rule. Can you document your income? Make sure that everything that you tell your lender, you can document. And D, the too much savings rule. If you have more than 3 months of mortgage payments, entire mortgage payments in the bank, then there's a good possibility you may not qualify for a loan modification because the lender's going to want you to use up those reserves and then ask for a loan modification. So that's barely tip number one. We're going to go for a short break and we're going to come back with more information. That's barely tip number one. I'm going to go into tip number 2 all the way through 10. And if we don't knock it out in this show, we'll knock it out the rest of it on the next show. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back after this.